There we go. Okay, so hello, as I said, welcome back to week 4. Somehow we're already at week 4 of the Accountancy Growth Council. Things are um, accelerating at a very quick pace. Today's session should be around half hour. We're going to make sure that we allow time for questions, and Brendan, obviously, you're going to be monitoring the chat for any questions that do come in. And what we're going to do is we're going to run through a little quick recap of what we've covered so far across the 4 weeks and why the Accountancy Growth Council exists and who we are. And then from there, we're going to head into this week's focus, which is going to be all around organic search research. So let's get into it. So who are we? I am Harry, and this is my co-founder, Brendan. Hopefully most of you have been on the last 3 webinars, so you're aware of us. But just for anybody who is new to the Growth Council and to these sessions, we are from an agency called 1225. We specialize in audience-first organic search, particularly for those in the accounting sector. And we've worked with a number of financial services brands over the past combined 25 years. I personally have been doing this for 10, Brendan 15, hence the 25. So we work with the likes of PensionBee, Azet, Clio, and Blick Rothenberg. And what we've done is, since we started 1225, so Brendan, we launched 1225 in July of this year. We've been going through, obviously looking at where we see our skill set as an underutilized skill set and where we can really help businesses grow. And as we started to grow ourselves, we realized that we needed an accountant. So we started doing some research, went online, as most people would do, and we typed into searches such as small business accounting in Northampton, as we're based in Northampton, or bookkeeping Northampton. And what we found was a bunch of accountancy firms that were not set up to capitalize on organic search demand and organic search growth, right? We know people are moving these searches online. So in the end, what we had to do was we had to seek out other contacts in the industry and get a referral, which is obviously a great way for you guys and us to be closing business. But fundamentally, there are a huge proportion of people who may not have those contacts or have someone to be referred to, and you are missing out on that sector of the market, which is why we have started the Accountancy Growth Council to help you capitalize on the demand from an organic search perspective. So what is the Accountancy Growth Council? It's a group of 50 accountancy firms looking to reduce the reliance on the referrals that I was just talking about and accelerate growth through audience-first organic search. And the council will meet every Wednesday for the next 4 weeks now. So as we said, we're halfway through the SEO playbook for accountants. There are 8 steps in that, and we're at step 4 now. So we're halfway through. We have another 4 weeks to go. And we're going to be providing more free and actionable content over the next couple of weeks. So right now, Brendan and I are putting the finishing touches on our industry benchmark report, where we've audited over 200 accountancy firm websites to understand where the best and quickest organic search growth opportunities are. And Brendan, I think you had a stat in your session from last week that 57% of accountancy firms do not have the foundations in place to capitalize on audience first organic search. And we're also working on, and this is coming soon, we don't have too many details in this yet, something that Brendan and I are working on, is an in-person Accountancy Growth Council event. So if that sounds like something that would be of interest to the Growth Council, please do give us feedback via email, via LinkedIn, or if you want to jump on a call, we're happy to, because we'd be very keen to get this AGC in-person event up and running for the new year. Okay, the council is now in session. So the organic search playbook for accountants. It's an 8-step process, as I was just talking about, and we're at step 4 now, which is research. So research is this week's focus. So let's get into it. And this is a very, frequently asked and commonly asked question that we have, Brendan, which is, why conduct organic search research? With the primary, the most common objective being that it does take time. And the answer to that is, you, as partners in accountancy firms, you are busy and you need to be investing your time in the areas that would generate the largest return. And for organic search to be effective at growing your firm, which is obviously the overall objective of any work that you'll be doing from an organic search perspective, you must be data conscious in order to ruthlessly prioritize. And we've seen time and time again where you start out on your organic search, your SEO journey, and you get hit with a bunch of different tasks that you could do. But if you don't prioritize those and you don't relentlessly focus on the ones that are going to make the biggest impact, it's easy to feel like you're pushing water up a hill. And that's what we want to avoid. And that is why that upfront research, that time investment is critical. And this is all around generating a return on your investment quickly. And again, this is something that we talk about a lot when it comes to reporting and organic search, which is for audience first organic search to be effective, you need buy-in from everybody at the senior level of your business and your firm. And the best way to do that is to showcase a return on investment quickly. And research is really going to help you, I guess, kick off, hit the ground running, and show that return on investment as quickly as possible. So how do you do organic search research? At 1225, we focus on 3 key areas when conducting strategy for research. So we have competitor analysis, keyword research, and also your target audience. And that part is something that can often be forgotten about and something that we're really going to focus on. And just here on the right is a screenshot from a tool that we use. But I caveat this in the next couple of slides as well. What we're really going to do is we're going to focus on tools that you will have at your disposal. And then if you want to do more in detail, more in-depth research, then please come speak to Brendan and I, and we can use our tools to help you do that. So, as I was just saying, each of these steps, they are free. And let's start with competitor analysis. To be truly successful at growing your business through organic search, you must understand what your competitors are doing. And you need to identify your online competitors. Now, the good news is you can do this very easily using Google search, but what we really want to draw attention to here is the people and companies that you deem your competitors may not be the same as your online competitors, right? So the best way to think about that is, let's say you go to a networking event like a local business expo or something like that. Quite often, you will literally see your competition in the room and you'll be able to go, right, okay, those people are my competition today. Or, you may be going to very similar industry events and you're seeing the same people offering similar services to you, and you're easily able to identify those people as your competitors. The difference is they may not be the same people when it comes to online. And the reason for that is, obviously, yes, you start off on a level playing field, but right now there isn't a level playing field. You have some accountancy firms that have been investing in digital marketing and SEO and paid media and things like that, and those that haven't. So what we need to do is we need to understand who for your key services are your online competition, and it's very simple to do this. So what we recommend is start with a simple Google search using relevant keywords related to the services that you offer. So we have an example here of bookkeeping Northampton, and what we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have the top 6 results in this screenshot on the right hand side, and straight away you can go, right, okay, these people are probably my online competitors. Now, the key difference, like I say, is the services may be slightly different, but for that keyword relevant to people in Northampton who are searching bookkeeping, they are your online competitors because they're ranking in positions 1 to 6. And what we want you to do is we want you to take note of the top ranking websites in the search results. They said they are primary competitors, and what we can do is we can analyze those further. And it's very simple again. All you need to do is find those 6 and then go and visit their websites. From there, we can do some website examinations. So what we want you to do is we want you to analyze the content, the structure, and the overall user experience of those sites that are ranking well. And we really want you to focus on noting the topics that they cover and their content depth. 2 reasons. One is that it's a good learning opportunity. So, okay, so these guys are ranking well, they're performing well. How are they doing it? But the other thing that is often overlooked, and Brennan, I know you absolutely love talking about this, is understanding where the gaps are. So if a competitor already has a piece of content up, obviously to do the same piece of content or a similar piece of content is directly competing with them. But we can also have a look and go, okay, well, they're talking about this part of the service, but there's also these other 3 or 4 topics that should be covered. They're not talking about that. Let's start there to help us build our authority in that area, provide useful, helpful content to your audience, and then you can go and directly compete against them. And the top tip here, again, something that is often overlooked because we start talking about SEO and we immediately think of Google and organic search, but we really need to be thinking about organic search as a much more holistic place. So considering things like social media, YouTube, and other areas where people can consume content. And what we want you to do is you want to go to your competitors' social media profiles and have a look at what they're talking about and see what is resonating with the audience, because you'll know what's resonating with the audience by looking at the engagement metrics. Are people commenting? Are people liking? Are people reposting? Are they engaging with the content that's being put out? If the answer is yes, okay, there's an opportunity. If the answer is no, there's also an opportunity because it's giving indicators of, okay, well, this theme isn't resonating with people with how it's being delivered at the moment. What can we do differently? What is the unique voice that we can offer? And whatever that is your in to go in and hit the ground running and start showing that return on investment quickly, as we were talking about earlier. And so from there, we can now look to identify growth opportunities. And we do this through keyword research. And keyword research is a fundamental part of identifying the phrases and terms your potential clients are using to find accounting services you offer. And at 1225, we have a set of tools that allow us to complete detailed keyword research and detailed keyword mapping. But to get started, like I said, we're going to focus on free tools, and we have 2 free tools for the sake of this webinar today. So the first one is Keyword Planner. And what I will say, just a quick caveat, is we're going to share this deck as we do every week with all Accountancy Growth Council members. So if you're not on the Growth Council, please drop myself or Brendan an email. Our email addresses are very simple. It's just our name, so Brendan, and then our website at 1225.io or Harry at 1225.io. So if you're not a member, please let us know, drop us an email, because we're going to share this round. And what we have here on this slide and the next slide, we have buttons. I just go to one here that will take you directly to Google Keyword Planner and to the other tool that we're going to be speaking about. The Google Keyword Planner is a free tool that allows you to understand how often people are searching for a particular keyword or similar keywords and similar phrases. But most importantly, it shows you trend analysis as well. So let's say we type in the word bookkeeping. It will tell us, okay, on a monthly basis, 1,000 people are searching for bookkeeping. What it will also tell us is, okay, there's actually a spike in people searching for bookkeeping around specific times of year. So I would imagine as the tax year is coming to a close, there's likely going to be a spike in things like bookkeeping, or as quarters come to an end, it's probably going to be looking at VAT returns and things like that. Understanding when those trends are and when those spikes are is really important, because that then gives you priority or an idea of priority of when certain pieces of content need to be produced. And as a rule of thumb, we'd want to say, when you want to be a couple of months ahead of when you think or can see that spike is going to happen. So a good example is we're coming up to this Friday, we got Black Friday, and then we go into the festive period. Is really, if you want to be targeting either festive keywords or say Black Friday keywords, you want to be thinking about that 2-3 months ahead of time to give your content time to get indexed, so Google can see that content. It gives time for Google to understand that content, and it gives yourself or agencies like us the chance to really amplify that content, so that when the time comes, you have the best possible chance of being seen and being visible to your potential customers. And the next one is Answer the Public. So on the right hand side, you have a screenshot of what the dashboard will look like when you first go to the site. So if you click that link at the bottom there, it says go to Answer the Public. You're going to see a screen that looks similar to the one on the right hand side. Now, Answer the Public is a user-friendly tool that helps you discover what questions and phrases people are searching for on the internet. And the simplest trick here is find what questions people are asking, Google those questions and see what is coming up, and see if you can add a unique spin on that, or potentially serve that content in a different way based on the intent. So quite often what we're seeing at the moment, especially around how-to and informational keywords, is video content could be really powerful there, especially as younger audiences. They like to digest information and get explained videos through video formats, say TikTok or YouTube, whatever it may be. If that content doesn't already exist, that is giving you a huge opportunity to get in, hit the ground running, and show a return on investment quickly. And it's also, say, user-friendly. It's very low barrier to getting into starting to produce SEO and audience-first content for the first time. So yeah, 2 tips there are Google Keyword Planner. That's going to give you an idea of search volumes for particular keywords and also give you an idea of trends around those keywords. And Answer the Public is going to give you real insight into what questions your potential customers are asking, which allows you to quickly go away and answer those questions and get in, hit the ground running, and show that return on investment quickly.
Harry, Tom's asked, he obviously understands keyword research, looking at the keywords that people are searching for. But how do you take that forward in terms of kind of how many times do you feature keywords on pages and stuff once you've found the keywords, or does it not work like that?
Yeah, it's a great question. So what I will say, Tom, is over the next couple of weeks, I think it's next week or the week after, Brendan, you're going to be delivering a webinar on essentially bringing all of this to light. So, okay, we've spoken about the foundations, we've gone through exactly what audience first organic search is, and obviously we're now at the research stage. Next week, you're going to be, okay, well, how do we bring this to life? But to answer that question top level today is SEO isn't what it used to be. So if you're having a conversation with Brennan or I, maybe 8 to 10 years ago, we would have very much been talking around tactics such as keyword stuffing, where you want to get that keyword on the page as often as possible. That is not how the search engine optimization and audience first game works anymore. The idea is to build topical authority around that topic. So yes, you likely going to want to do some pretty simple things, which is define your structure whereby that keyword is naturally within, say, like the H1 tag, so the main header of the page, and maybe in a few different sections of the page. But I think simplest advice is only include those keywords when it is natural to do so. If it is not natural to do so, that is going to negatively impact the user experience. And ultimately, what we're trying to do is we're trying to improve the user experience. In turn, we will then see benefits from a visibility perspective when it comes to rankings and traffic from Google. Perfect. Okay, nice. So, how do you differentiate your firm from the competition? So, like, we have 50 people on the Accountancy Growth Council. There is a possibility that all 50 would eventually start working with 1225. So, how do you differentiate your firm from the competition? And the answer is a relentless focus on the customer experience. If you do this, this will put you ahead. A relentless focus on the customer experience. It means creating content that genuinely improves the lives of your potential clients, even if it doesn't align perfectly with the high search volume keywords. So obviously we've just spoken about using tools like Keyword Planner to understand how often a particular phrase is being searched. We've also spoken about how you can use Answer the Public to find questions that people are asking. Now, there's a possibility that those two things won't align, whereby maybe only 5 people are asking a specific type of question, and there is keyword volume for something completely different that has 1 million searches a month, right? What we are saying is prioritize the people, not the search volume. You are the experts at what you do, and you understand what questions potential customers are asking, what any objections may be to working with an accountant, for example. If you focus on improving those people's lives with your content, you will succeed far better than anybody that is chasing algorithms and chasing search volume. And what you also want to be doing, and this is something that, Brendan, probably a realization that we've had over the last 7 days, is through putting the final finishing touches to the industry benchmark report, is, to be fair, a lot of firms are producing content, but that content is very much being produced with the partners of the firm in mind and not the potential clients in mind. So basically, if you're writing copy and you're writing articles for accountants, you're not addressing the right audience, because if they're already accountants, chances are they're not looking for accountants. You want to be writing content for people like Brendan and I. We did not have an accountant. We still have a bunch of questions around how to, say, use Xero properly, how to do VAT returns, how to do payroll, how to be as tax efficient as possible. Those questions are important. You're not trying to impress the partners at your firm. You're trying to deliver content that is genuinely going to change their lives or improve the lives of your potential clients. And this customer-centric approach, essentially, this relentless focus on the customer experience, it helps build trust quickly, and it helps set you up for long-term relationships. Now, what I will say is, while you may build trust quickly, some of this may not pay off for an elongated period of time, right? It might take a year for some of this to pay off. What we will say is, once you really invest in that, you'll see a snowball effect where eventually you'll get 1, then you'll get 2, then you'll get 3, then you'll get 4. And those people that you're getting, those potential customers that are coming into your firm, they will stay a lot longer because you've already built that trust during the awareness stage of the cycle. So how do you achieve that? Well, a couple of tips for you. Focus on content quality over content quantity. So there is a phrase that has been used throughout probably the time of SEO, which is content is king. Now, that is true, but that doesn't mean volume is king. Content quality that is genuinely improving the lives of your potential customers is always going to be more important than content quantity. really focus on relevance, as we were saying a second ago, right? Do not write content for accountants. Write content for your potential customers. And if, for whatever reason, that doesn't align, it's time to reevaluate the purpose of the content. So again, Brennan, this happened in the office the other day where I think you looked at a page and you said, like, what is this page? Why does this exist? And I think that is what anybody should do. Like, even if you took nothing else away from today's webinar, I would say go to your website, look at your service pages, look at your blog posts, and ask yourself the question, what is this page and why does it exist? And if that doesn't align with genuinely trying to improve the lives of your potential customers and isn't showing a relentless focus on the customer experience, I'd say go back through, focus on optimizing those pages to improve the lives of your potential customers, and then move forward in terms of further execution that Brendan you'll be covering in the next webinar. And then another top tip here is user intent. Understand the intent behind the keywords and phrases that your potential customers are searching for. And the easiest way to do that, again, isn't through any fancy tool. It is to simply take the keyword that you want to rank for. So let's say bookkeeping Northampton, and Google it and see what is coming up. Are they transactional times? Are they taking you to service pages, or is it taking you to informational pages like, say, YouTube or TikTok? Or have a look at what is coming up, and that is going to be a good indicator of the intent, and then optimize for that intent. If you optimize for that intent, it will put you ahead of the competition. Okay, so before I get into it, Brendan, are there any further questions?
Yeah, Harry. Marina's asked at the start of the kind of webinar, you discussed prioritization. Obviously, if you do keyword research and you come up with a lot of keywords, which are the keywords that you should go after in terms of content first?
Yeah, it's a great question. So what we want to focus on is, I think we have it somewhere. Let me just see if I can find it. Okay, so it probably sums it up nicely here, which is the reason that we want you to conduct the research is so that you can understand how your audience is searching and understand the questions that they're asking. Now, how do you prioritize that is very much based on kind of like that sweet spot between the two. So does it have some search volume? So are people searching for it? Even if it's just a few people, are they? Yes. Okay, great. That probably qualifies it as a focus area. And the next one is, will that piece of content, if I create it, genuinely improve the lives of our potential customers? And do we think that will move people a step closer to a sale? If the answer to that is yes, then you go, okay, great. That is the perfect sweet spot between the two. Let's focus on that before we start chasing maybe higher volume keywords that maybe we don't have a unique voice on and maybe we can't use to genuinely improve the lives of potential clients. So, any further questions, Brendan?
Follow up on that from Marina again. Just obviously prioritization. The other one is format of content as well. Once you've got keywords and stuff, how do you start to think about which formats you want to go after?
Yeah, so there is probably two different ways of looking at that. So one of them comes down to this here, which is user intent. So once you understand user intent by, again, conducting Google searches, you're going to be able to see what types of content are performing well. So is that blog content? Is that service page content? Is that video content? Is it a white paper, for example? And then how do you understand which one to do and how to prioritize? Probably comes down to where you're most comfortable as well. So Brendan, if we consider that as a use case for 1225, I'd say the content that we produce is pretty much split 50-50 in terms of you like using words, right? Like you have a journalism degree, you like writing. So a lot of the content that you produce is in written form. Whereas for me, I much prefer doing something like this, like jumping on, talking to a camera and sharing my thoughts and opinions that way. So we prioritize based on that. Okay, well, I'm more comfortable at this, you're more comfortable at that, let's go away and produce it. And I think that is, again, something that you need to ask yourself. And it needs to be something that you can genuinely work with and enjoy as well. So if you're finding that, okay, when I run this Google search for any of the keywords and the user intent is showing a lot of informational content via video, but you're not comfortable producing video, then go find something else. Go find an area where actually, you know what, there is a lot of search volume, or there's a lot of questions people are asking, and pretty much everything that is coming back is in written form. and go there first. Because what we want to do is, yes, we want to be showing that return on investment quickly. We want this to be an enjoyable experience as well, because we know the more enjoyable the experience, the more likely you are to continue this time over time over time. And as you start to see those results and you start to see that return on investment, then maybe you can invest in hiring somebody, for example, to own the video content, or you could work with an agency that would help on that video content front. So I think you have to understand user intent is one part, but the other part is you have to do what you're most comfortable with to start, because it needs to be enjoyable and it needs to be a way of building momentum by seeing those results.
Perfect. No more questions from my side.
Perfect. Cool. So I'll just take a quick sip of tea and then we'll jump into the recap section. So the goal is to generate a return on investment quickly. And for us to do that, and for us to do this through organic search, we need to be effective at growing your firm by ruthlessly prioritizing. And to do this, we need to start by identifying your online competitors. And you do this through simple Google search, then going through onto those competitors and running a website examination. And remember that top tip of going through social media and reviewing what people are posting on social media is going to be a great driver of intent. And you can probably hear my dog in the background. I think the postman has arrived. But yeah, social media is going to be a great one because you can see what people are engaging with and what they're not engaging with. And that's going to give you a quick head start on where to focus your efforts. And then you want to move into conducting keyword research, understanding search volumes, what people are searching for, and any questions people are asking. And you can use two tools to do that, Keyword Planner and Answer the Public. Both of those are free. And as I said, we're going to share this deck out after the session, and there are links to both in there. And you must have a relentless focus on the customer experience. And to do that, focus on these three things: content quality over content quantity, content relevance. Will this genuinely enhance the customer experience? If the answer to that question is no, it's time to reevaluate, re-optimize that piece of content and go again. And understand user intent. Conduct Google search to understand the user intent. So is it informational? Is it transactional? Do we think this is going to be an awareness stage piece of content? Is this going to be a decision stage piece of content? How is that content being served? Is it video? Is it written? Is it audio? Understanding that all of that is going to put you ahead of the competition and is going to allow you to see a return on investment as quickly as possible from audience first organic search. That is it. The council is now adjourned. So before we do a very quick recap of what's to come, Brennan, any other questions? Or are we closed out?
No questions.
Perfect. Nice. So the next session is going to take place at the same time next week, so 10 a.m. on Wednesday, the 29th of November. If you missed any of the sessions so far, you can watch them back on YouTube. So we have uploaded the first 3 sessions, and this one will come today, to the YouTube channel, which is the Accountancy Growth Council. So if you search that on YouTube, it will be the first page that comes up, and it has the logo that you can see on the right-hand side here. And if you have any questions or feedback on the first 3 and this one now, the 4 webinars, please email myself, so harry@1225.io, or Brendan, same email address, just replace Harry with Brendan, and that will get you to one of us. And yeah, thank you. That is the end of the webinar, so thank you all for coming, and we'll see you next week.